In Napoli, when boy meets girl. No, I'm not gonna sing That's Amore. We're talking the North End. We're talking Italian, baby. Hey everyone, if you've been here before, you know I'm Matt Swierk. I'm a local real estate expert. We make all kinds of fun videos, well, we think they're fun videos about Massachusetts. If this is your first time to the channel, definitely subscribe, click that little bell so every time we make a new video, right? The videos are gonna talk about all different things about Massachusetts. Eat, sleep, play, drink, you name it, we hit it. Today we're talking the North End. Whatever you have for questions, we have answers. As I always say, when it comes to Massachusetts, we've always got your back. All right, so the North End, the North End, the North End, the North End. Oh my gosh! Yes, everyone, or, you know, all the other cities have their Italian places. That's wonderful. I'm sure they're great. But of course, I'm from Massachusetts, and I am all about the North End. So, of course, we're thinking, you know, the first thing you got to think is Italian food, Italian food, Italian food. Oh my gosh, that's not the only reason to go to the North End. And of course, I talk about, you know, that's where where typically our Italian folk had come and settled into Boston. So we had our Irish friends were in South Boston and going down the South Shore, and we had some of our Italian friends sat right on the. I guess I'll say the eastern side of Boston. There's really no eastern side, but like that's it, because you leave the North End, you're going swimming in the ocean. So what's there to do? Like, what is the North End all about? Oh my gosh! So of course we got to talk about food. I'm gonna make a bold statement right now. My man Tyler is gonna get mad at me for making this one, but I got to bring up the fact: Reginas Pizzeria. Right, Regina's. It started in the North End. I see him behind the camera, shaking his head. You heard him just chuckling. He's a Santarpio's guy. We've talked about that in a different video. That's a great place as well. However, I'm sorry, I got to give it to Regina's, and I got to give it to Regina's in the North End. They've expanded to some of the malls, and they have the little kiosks. It's not the same. You got to go to the North End. You got to get that experience. What's the experience? So, of course, we have Italian food, and you take your pick down there. I don't care where you go, you're getting a great meal, right? So there's the big ones right there. You know, you have Mamma Mia's there. You have Giacomo's. I mean, there is. Oh my gosh, there's so many different Italian places. You can't get a wrong meal. Some of them are served Italian style. Some of them are served family style. That's one of the things I love about Giacomo's. It's kind of a smaller place, so be prepared. I guess I would say one of the negatives is that you go out to dinner, get ready to stand in line because you got small places. You're going to wait, but the wait is worth it. So you have all the different types of Italian foods. Then you have all the bakeries, right? Mike's Pastry is the big flagship down there, so everyone knows about Mike's. We'll give them credit. I mean, that's a great place, right? It's definitely, I think of it as a tourist. Not a trap. There's no traps. Like, it's a tourist attraction. Like, come eat all of our amazing Italian foods. And one of the things I love is, you know who's a tourist when you go to Mike's Pastry. So, and I might sound kind of arrogant, and I don't know what the word you would want to call me on this one, but as someone that knows how to work Mike's, right? Like, people just kind of wander around. So you walk in, and in the back is where you order, and people just get confused because they don't know where to do or where to go. So you have this like semi-line of like just confusion. And then people that have been there before and know what to do, it's like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, excuse me for a second. And they're like, oh, where's that guy going? And I'm like, I'm going up front to get my cannolis, right? And just like I said, I don't know if we used that at the intro of this video, I got to tell you, I'm going to put my flag in this one too. You eat cannolis on chocolate chips on your cannolis, get out of here. Oh my gosh, what are you talking about? Like, I will throw that thing away. Ugh! No, thank you. So I hope a lot of people agree with me on this one, but I don't know. And I don't want chocolate on the cannoli shell. Like, there's no chocolate. I don't want that stuff. But there's so many great things as far as Mike's Pastries, and then just talking about bakeries. I think that's one of the big hidden secrets when it comes to the North End. There, you have your main road, Hanover Street, that everyone knows. That's where all the big things are, or the well-known places. And off of these, off of Hanover Street, all this community there's a lot of little like doorways and little places where they're cooking fresh breads every morning. Right, a lot of guys and girls have a lot of pride in what they do. They're getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're making sure that bread is perfect for when people come out of bed. They want to get their fresh bread. I mean, it's an awesome experience. So that's something I 100% recommend. Even if you're not into bread, go eat some of the breads. I mean, it's just, there's so many places that are there. I mean, it's amazing, right? I can't believe I'm getting all excited about bread, but that's what I'm getting excited about today. The other thing I really like about the North End, and I was talking to Tyler about this earlier. When we look at South Boston, where I had family that we grew up there, or part of there, I'm from Quincy. I think over the years, as things have changed, it's really lost its sense of community, right? And so anyone that's seen Good Will Hunting and kind of that tight-knit neighborhood, how you like them apples? Yeah, I used that joke one time. We don't use that a lot. We don't call it Beantown either. Anyway, so that close knit that South Boston had, or Southie had, I think has gone over the years. But I really feel the North End really keeps that close knit community. It's a really it's tight. That could be something that's a negative about it, but that is one of those things that the neighbors are still there helping out each other. They're not kind of like, what's that guy all about? What's that girl doing? It's a great place, and it's very welcoming and very warm. Especially if it's a summertime. Dad joke, thanks. All right, the other, sorry Tyler, I had to throw it out there. The other thing is that I absolutely love the location as far as the North End's concerned. So we had this big project in Boston, and there was this roadway that you couldn't really get to the North End, and it was a little difficult to get over there. Well, that whole system was actually taken and put underground. So now we have easy access from really like kind of Boston Commons. No, I'm sorry, not Boston Common. The Faneuil Hall, Quincy Market, those areas. You kind of have this a little bit of a greenway, and you cross over. Now it's really easy to get back and forth into Boston, right? It's part of Boston, but it was kind of separated for a bit. There is, the other thing as far as walking's concerned, it's part of the North End has the Harbor Walk, which I think we highlighted on a different video, which is kind of the Boston Harbor. It's just a walking path that you can go through, and it's just a cool way of seeing Boston. I'm always going to say this to anyone that comes: if you have the opportunity to go on some type of a boat or one of the harbor cruises, it's cool. It's a different experience to actually see Boston from the ocean. So accessibility is awesome, and I think the one thing that really holds true to my heart when it comes to the North End is the saint festivals, right? Now, I don't want to get all religious here, and I don't want to get anyone all bent out of shape here, but there was a lot of, basically they celebrate a lot of the saints, and on the weekends in the summertime, they have these set weekends that are based all around the saints, right? So like St. Anthony, or they have one that's like the Blessed Mother. Those events, it's a really, I don't even know how to describe it. It's more about the feeling, and not even aside about the religious thing, right? But as far as so I'll give you an example, right? So they would have a statue of the Blessed Mother, and there'd be a bunch of guys, carrying it up through the streets, and people literally would just take money, pin it on there. And it was just like this giant parade, and everyone was just happy, and everyone's eating their cannolis without chocolate chips, and everyone's just having a grand old time. I remember those, that was just such a great thing. And, of course, as my kids get older, and I'm like, all right, we got to go down to Reginas, and, we got to bring them over to get the, go over to Mike's. Are there some things that are bad about the North End? I guess so. Crime? No, not the crime. I'm joking. So I think, one of the things I would say is this definitely is a negative, right? Is the parking over there. It's tough. There's not you're gonna valet, and when I was younger that was not in the equation, but now I can do that. It's not a huge area, but it's definitely an area you could get lost if you're not paying attention, right? So that's something, especially you can't just keep driving around trying to find a place to park. It's just not going to happen. So be prepared if you're going out to dinner. Either get ready to do the valet, or take the train over, or park in one of the other garages over near Government Center, or something like that, or even in Faneuil Hall. I keep forgetting Faneuil Hall today. How dare I? Sad. So that's a big thing I think is a negative. The other thing I would say is a negative, and it is kind of a, Hanover Street becomes almost like a tourist attraction, right? Because Mike's is there and all these restaurants. So you have a lot of people there. It can get kind of, congested. It's loud, right? There's a lot of noise pollution, especially, during the day. I mean, you can be out till 2 o'clock in the morning and there's a lot going on. So I think that's something that, you definitely want to keep in mind when you're over there. It is kind of a loud, lively place, but I think, I love that because there's so much energy that's there. And with a close community, it's just fun. You join your brothers and sisters, you have a great time. And I think I would say, as far as tourists are concerned, definitely, Mike's Pastry, like I said, that sticks in everyone's mind. That's not just one of those things that just the tourists go to. I mean, it's, people show up at, events with, Mike's Pastry, and everyone's like, ooh, what'd you bring, right? And so, and I'm just thinking of all the different, the raspberry pit. I could start drooling thinking about all that stuff. Oh, Mike's. So that's a kind of a tourist attraction. And then I think going back to the traffic and kind of the maneuverability of the North End, I'm going to say it's not really user friendly, right? The streets are very narrow, right? So remember, all of our streets were all horse trails from a long, long time ago. So it gets a little goofy. A lot of you have grids in your city that make it so much easier to travel. I lived in Arizona for a little bit of time, and it was just like, how do you get lost? You really can't. So you just go on the grid, and it's so simple. So the North End, you can get lost a little bit. Again, it's kind of protected, so you're not you won't be lost forever. But you can get confused as far as the one ways. The streets are really narrow, so don't try to parallel park, or if you can find a parking space down there, just kind of be aware of your surroundings in the sense of, I was joking before, not as far as your safety, but be aware of your surroundings as far as just put the vehicle in one place and then just get out and walk and just go explore everything that the North End has. The North End has to offer. So many great places down there, so much great history, so much sense of pride and community. I love the North End. All right, so I hope you could feel my passion for the North End, and maybe I got a little too passionate about my cannolis. That's okay. I am who I am. But listen, when it comes to the North End, great place. Anything to do with Boston, or more specifically Massachusetts, reach out to us if you want to. You have questions about certain neighborhoods or different areas about the train. What are some of the best real estate markets to buy in? Whatever it might be, you have questions. We got some answers for you. Give us a call anyway, or reach out to us any way possible. We'll get back to you. When it comes to Massachusetts, we've always got your back.